Welcome to the Brothers from Hell Mondays edition. That's right, coming at you every Monday night here around 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And tonight we are going all the way back to March 4th, 1986 for this review. That's right. And anybody that doesn't know this freaking album, you are not a real metalhead. And this would be the first album I ever heard that got me into thrash metal at 9 years old back in 1988. Of course, I'm talking about the almighty, legendary, iconic Master of Puppets. That's right. This motherfucker. Got two copies of it. Got the original Electra version and this 2017 3-disc Digipack version, which is freaking awesome to have. But yeah, man, we're going to get right to it. 8 tracks. Clocking it at roughly 55 minutes. Close to 55 minutes. And yeah. So this album starts off with a melodic acoustic intro. Basically a little interlude to what's to come here, because at first when you're listening to this, you're thinking, okay, what kind of album is this going to be? At least that's what I thought when I was very little, when I first heard it for the first time. I was like, well, what am I in for here? I didn't know who Metallica was. I just remember seeing the album cover thinking to myself at 9 years old, this looks really, really cool. And so then it kicks into Battery. And right away, you're getting your ass kicked with thrash metal. You get these big riffs from James, this galloping, like, speedy, thrashy riff, and then Lars comes in with the drums. And I gotta say, this album to me is probably, now a lot of people would say Injustice for All, but I beg to differ. I think Master of Puppets is Lars' crowning achievement when it comes to drums. That's just my humble opinion. I think his best drum work is on this album. And yes, because while it's thrashy, Lars is throwing like some fills in there, adding a lot of different textures behind the drums to make it sound unique. And oh my god, the galloping thrashy riff is just absolutely killer. It's in your face. Yeah, this track, it is a pure fucking battery. It's battering your fucking skull in, man. I mean, when you're listening to it. And I'll tell you what, 37 years later, or close to 37 years later, the song still kicks ass. It still sounds fresh to this freaking day. And it's a timeless masterpiece, in my opinion, and a great way to begin this legendary album. So then we go into the title track, the almighty Master of Puppets. Man, this song is just awesome. What more could be said? Easily one of the best rhythm guitar tracks on the planet. The way James is doing the downpicking on this track, wow, just absolutely amazing. Now, I don't know how true it is. There's rumors going around that the tracks were actually sped up in the studio to make him sound like he's playing faster than what he actually really was while recording the track. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just fucking some kind of gossip or rumors that are going around. But from seeing Metallica live, I can definitely attest that James Hetfield can really play that fast, because I've seen it. So I think that's just a myth or some kind of bullshit somebody's making up, because I believe, that that's the natural recording, But Master of Puppets, just a masterpiece. It's legendary. It's a song about drug addiction and how drug addiction can control you. Now, it seems like this track's about cocaine, and what cocaine can do to you. But yeah, that's what Master of Puppets is basically about, how drugs can pretty much control you. Excellent track. I mean, the midsection in this track is like a classical piece. Just bombastic, very melodic. I love the harmony guitar parts in this. Just absolutely gorgeous stuff. And it fucking speeds back up and you get this awesome shreddy guitar solo from Kirk in here. Now it's weird. I can remember reading an article in Guitar World magazine years and years ago, probably in the mid '90s sometime. There was an article with Kirk Hammett in it, and I remember in the article specifically that apparently during that solo, Kirk Hammett actually made a mistake in that solo, which I can't tell the difference from listening to it. I mean, apparently there was some kind of a weird screech effect in the notes that were made accidentally in the solo. I don't know. I can't really tell the difference. I mean, only he would know because he's the one that recorded the damn thing, but I just found that to be kind of interesting. Either way, this track's iconic. What more could be said? It's fucking legendary. It's one of the best thrash metal songs ever written. One of the best epic thrash metal songs ever written. Anyway, so then we go into the thing that should not be. This track's a little different from Metallica at the time. This one's a lot more heavier and crunchier, a bit slower. Kind of a little doomy, I guess. Because it begins very melodic and dark. It's got like this very dark vibe going on, and then it's just bone crunching heavy after that. I mean, one of the heaviest Metallica tracks, probably. It's tuned down. This is the first time where Metallica experimented with tuning their guitars down. I believe it's played in drop D tuning, which is kind of unique. Now, some people think this is the weakest track on Master of Puppets. I kind of beg to differ. I mean, I guess at one point maybe I thought that way too, but not so much anymore. It does seem like an odd track on the album, but actually it really isn't. I think it fits the album perfect, the more I think about it. So yeah, this track is very heavy. It's just bone crunching. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it, is it's bone crunching. And you get this insane frantic guitar solo from Kirk Hammett in the middle of it. Notably, too, this might be Kirk Hammett's best lead guitar album. I mean, I would say on this album, he's definitely coming into his own, where on the first two albums, a lot of the solos were comprised by Dave Mustaine. So I do believe on this one, you're getting Kirk Hammett coming into his own here, which I think this track's great. And to me, lyrically, the theme that should not be is definitely about insanity, losing your mind. That's kind of the vibe I get, because, sometimes we all lose our minds a little bit. Anyways, moving on. So we're going into a familiar structure here, similar to Ride the Lightning a little bit, where the first track's very thrashy, the second track's like a mixture of thrash and epicness, and the third track's more mid-paced and slowed down, and this track's more of like a ballady type of track. So we're talking about Welcome Home Sanitarium, track number 4. This track is really, really good. Wow, one of the best written Metallica tracks in my opinion. I absolutely love the melodicism of this track. Just excellent stuff. And the lead guitar work is just phenomenal in the beginning, too, by Kirk Hammett. I guess in a way a little similar to Fade to Black in some ways, but, it doesn't sound like Fade to Black. It's definitely its own beast in its own right. And this track is definitely about, losing your mind and being in a mental institution and, just wanting to get out, That's kind of the vibe I get with the lyrics on this track. Excellent track. I mean, I really love it. I definitely love the ending of the track where James is yelling, "Just leave me alone," and it gets really thrashy and heavy near the end. That's a really cool part of the track. Again, another epic track. I mean, it's another great track. So then we go into the second half of the record now, and my personal favorite track on this record, Disposable Heroes. Man, this track freaking rules, man. Another just bombastic epic. It just begins like a classical music piece. I mean, you can really feel Cliff's influence all over this record, and apparently Cliff didn't write like a lot of tracks on this record, which is really odd. Like he did more writing on on Ride the Lightning as opposed to Master of Puppets when you look in the credits. But man, I guess this just proves that, Cliff's influence is really wearing off on James Hetfield, on this track, because man, the rhythm and guitar work on this track is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal, excuse me. And man, I just love the structure of this track. It's thrashy. It's very epic sounding. You know, you can feel, it feels like you're in a battlefield fighting a war when you listen to this thing, because this track is about war and the consequences war can cause. You know, it's basically about being sent out there to fight for a corrupt government and a corrupt system, and to die at a young age for basically misleadership and corruption. You know, that's the vibe you get in the lyrics of this track. Man, this track is just absolutely awesome. Man, it's my, like I said, it's probably my favorite Metallica track, period. Disposable Heroes. I just love this track. The guitar solos are just freaking epic on this one. Again, Kirk Hammett's doing one hell of a job on the solos on this track. Okay, so now moving on to Leper Messiah. Again, this is another track that people call weak. I don't get why. This track's freaking awesome. What's wrong with you people? It's got a good groove to it. It's got some good, pretty heavy riffs in it, you know. I like it, man. I mean, and, you know, a lot of people say Lars started doing that type of drumming on One. No, it started on Leper Messiah. He's doing some double bass rolls in the middle of Leper Messiah. Apparently, there's like a 30-second clip in this track that Dave Mustaine wrote. I'm not sure exactly which part it would be in this track, but apparently there's a part of this in this track that Dave Mustaine apparently wrote. I don't know which part it would be, but that's just one of those legendary rumors and stories, you know. But this song, I think it's very underrated. I think it's just as good as anything else on this legendary album. And this track is definitely about religion and the corruption religion can be, you know. And that's pretty much what Leper Messiah is about. It's about being misled by, you know, misled by religion, and, you know, how corrupt the churches can be, and how corrupt, you know, your preacher or pastor can be. You know, that's pretty much the vibe I get. Oh my God, then the next track, holy shit. The epicness doesn't stop now. Here we go, man. In my humble opinion, probably the best instrumental track ever written. I'm talking about Orion. What an amazing instrumental this is, man. Holy crap. You can just feel Cliff everywhere on this track. Rightfully so, because Cliff wrote this track. At least most of this track, you know. Man, you can just feel the power in this track, and especially in that mid part where it slows down, and, you know, James and Kirk and Cliff are doing like this Thin Lizzy like harmony behind, you know, what Cliff's playing on the bass. Cliff's playing this really gorgeous melody behind the bass, on, you know, in the middle of the track, I should say. And it's such a gorgeous bass melody, and when Kirk and James come in with those harmony guitar leads, man, it's just something else, you know. And of course, you know, the track does speed up near the end. It gets pretty thrashy. Just great stuff. And you get some really great bass leads from Cliff on this track, which when I first heard it, I thought it was a guitar until, you know, I was told it was a bass, and it's a bass, all right, man. Then we're at the end. The beginning, the volume swells, which is very Pink Floyd-like. The beginning of this next track, those volumes swells in kind of a psychedelic feel. But then it turns into a fucking bone-crunching, thrash-stir piece of a track. I'm talking about Damage Incorporated. Damage Inc., whatever you want to call it. Just pure speed, pure aggression. I would say probably the thrashiest track on this record to end things off. It's just fast, it's furious, it's aggressive. This is back when Metallica didn't give a fuck, you know? And that's pretty much what the song's about. To me, at least, not giving a fuck and just going out there and conquering and destroying, you know? That's the vibe I get with Damage Incorporated. Great way to end this freaking album. Blazing guitar solos from Kirk Hammett. And that's Master of Puppets in a nutshell. 10 out of fucking 10 this album gets. Alright, here is Music of Destruction.
All right, man. Thanks, Ben. It's an honor to be here, as always, for the Brothers from Hell collaboration Mondays. This is was a good idea for us to review this one because I haven't done it on my channel yet. and I figured you haven't done it either. And yeah, it's a classic all the way back from 1986, released on Elektra Records. And then this is the copy I got from Ben. This is the blackened edition, which I believe is Metallica's own label, if I'm not mistaken. And in my opinion, this is Metallica's last good album. I know a lot of people love Injustice for All, but I just feel like the production on that one really ruined what could have been a really good album. Now, if you listen to AJFA live, it actually sounds really good because Jason's bass is in there, and I think they did a remaster of it with Jason's bass parts. Anyway, this is a great album. Now, the album opens up with one of Metallica's most iconic tracks, in my opinion, with Battery, which has a nice clean guitar riff to start it off and creates an intense build into what later becomes an intense, aggressive, brutal explosion of sonic thrash metal battering that literally makes your skull cave in from its relentless pounding dominance and visceral venomous delivery of a very angry Metallica, with James's vocals and lyrics leading the way here. We also get some of the best bass riffs ever from Cliff Burton all over this record, and Kirk and James guitaring pairs off nicely, and there's some great lead sections and a really nice solo to round out this track. And it's one of Metallica's heaviest songs, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot on Ride the Lightning was really heavy. I mean, their first three records are masterpieces, but this is one of the standout openers, in my opinion, as well. Next up, you've got the title track, Master of Puppets. This is easily another one of Metallica's most iconic tracks, an instant fan favorite at concerts as well. We get some incredible thrash metal from Metallica on this track. This is an emotional ride through the realities of drug addiction and darkness with powerful drum work, bass, and some intense thrash metal guitar riffing and aggression that just destroys the soul, with the riffs taking center stage here alongside Cliff's amazing songwriting and bass here once again. This is an incredible track with a mid-tempo section in the middle that really drives home the emotions and pain before it builds up and explodes back into its neck-breaking intensity and furious aggression to close this one out as well. Next up, we have The Thing That Should Not Be, and this is a very dark, sinister track with some eerie bass lines and some incredible abysmal guitar work, with some of Cliff's best bass at work once again here, with James and Kirk playing well off one another, with Kirk throwing in some great lead work and James steadying the thrashing ship here with his rhythm guitar work. And the lyrics on this track are really dark and foreboding. As Ben said, it's about losing your mind and going insane. And this entire track as a whole has a really awesome thrash metal atmosphere with some intense melancholic builds throughout the entire track that really makes it stand out. Next up, you've got Welcome Home Sanitarium, and here we get another mid-paced affair to start things off. And you got some really depressing lyrics about mental illness, isolation, and fear that encompasses this entire outing from being institutionalized. And it really gets into your head as the emotions and intensity of the track build and build to a really awesome, explosive, aggressive thrash metal climax. Now, the musicianship on this track is outstanding. You can feel the aggression, the rage, and the venom from this young group of maniacs at this time, and it shows. Also, Cliff is one hell of a songwriter. Though I know he didn't do as much writing as before, I do feel that without his writing, it wouldn't have been as good, though I know they all contributed. I do believe a lot of Metallica's amazing writing comes from Cliff before everybody else. So next up, we've got my favorite track on the record with Disposable Heroes, and easily one of the heaviest on the record. This is skull-pounding, brutal thrash metal brilliance that's all about war, hopelessness, and the PTSD that accompanies being a Marine trapped with your demons of becoming desensitized and traumatized by war. And all of this demonic aggression and brutality is so captivating throughout this epic 8-minute track that I never want it to end, man, because this is brilliance, in my opinion, and the brutality and headbanging madness are taken to new heights on this track. Easily one of Metallica's most iconic tracks. Fucking amazing stuff with Disposable Heroes. Next up, you've got Leper, Messiah, and this is a rather good track here that's all about religion and being indoctrinated by Christianity. This one is a slower track from Metallica that has some nice slow burns as Cliff's bass steady the ship here while James and Kirk play off one another. Yes, folks, Lars is drumming really good on this record as well. But again, I still think Cliff's bass is what really makes this record so intriguing and powerful. And it's what helps this album really stand out because it has a similar production to Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, but Cliff's bass is turned up quite a bit on this album, which I really do appreciate because some of his stuff on here is just mind-bendingly fucking complex and powerful, and I feel that he definitely deserves a lot more credit than he gets. In some cases, with Metallica's songwriting and just everything he brought to the table for this band is absolutely outstanding. The best bass player of all time in metal, Cliff fucking Burton. Rest in peace, buddy. We miss you every goddamn day, man. It's so sad that he's gone. Oh, geez. Well, next up we have Orion, and this one is one of the most breathtaking instrumental metal songs of all time, with some of Cliff's best solo work I've ever heard. As Ben said, you got a lot of bass here from Cliff, with Kirk and James like pairing off a Cliff, and it's got like this really crazy swell midway through that really creates a deep, profound, mesmerizing, and enchanting slow burn here until it explodes with some later aggressive passages on the track that also creates some incredible momentum that burns with pure fire and intensity that never manages to subside. This is one of Metallica's best tracks, in my opinion. Orion is just, I used to fall asleep to that track. I'd put it on repeat when I was like 12, 13 years old, which was when I first got this record. And I'd fall asleep to it because it's so hypnotic and intense and just absolutely beautiful stuff here. Orion is a great track. Closing out the album is another one of my faves, with Damage Incorporated. And as Ben said, you get those guitar swells that come in both sides of each speaker before it just explodes with brutal thrash metal venom, and aggression that will cave in your skull, bash in your fucking brains into dust. It's got really fast, intense drum work, visceral riffing, and sick goddamn drumming here from Lars. Some of his best, I would say, is on this track from this album. And of course, you have Cliff's amazing bass shining through here like he always does. And goddamn, do I love this fucking track. This is an excellent, powerful, memorable experience and album and track. And what a great way to close out this amazing, monumental 1986 thrash metal classic, Master of Puppets. And you know what? I got to give this album a fucking 10 out of 10. The first three Metallica albums, like I said, are pretty much flawless. This is an essential thrash metal release, and if you don't have it, why the hell not? I don't get why any irrespected metal freak wouldn't have this record. So yeah, that is my review of Metallica's Master of Puppets.
All right, there you have it, people. That's Master of Puppets in a nutshell. One of the greatest albums of all time, like we said. I mean, like I said, if you don't know this album, you're not a real metalhead, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, it's one of the most influential heavy metal albums in history. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah.
The influence this album has had on bands is just astronomical, man. Including me, I'm massively influenced by it. So, you know.
Yeah, man.
So we'll take a look at the chat real quick here. Oh, go ahead, man.
Well, I was going to say, what's really cool is that in 1986, it was such a great year for thrash. Like, you had so much coming out at that time. Like, 86 was the year of thrash metal. For sure. Like, so many bands were putting out stuff at that point. Creator, Sodom, I think Destruction was putting out stuff. Testament put out an album. I don't know about Megadeth. I'm not too sure about that. I think Slayer put out a record that year. Sepultura with Morbid Visions.
Yes.
There were just so many fucking bands putting out albums at that time, and what a year it was, man, for thrash metal and just metal in general. 86 was so fucking memorable.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, like you said, I mean, that year had some of the greatest thrash metal albums. Holy cow.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you can literally do a top 35, top 40 of like great thrash metal albums that came out in 1986. And the thing is, not one of them sucked. They're all good.
No.
know?
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. And that's the thing, man. Like, I love doing these collabs because we're bringing back the true spirit of metal with all the classics, and then we're going to do a lot more underground stuff. This is going to be every fucking Monday, you guys. Even if it's albums we don't have yet, if we both love it, we're going to listen to it and fucking review it anyway, just like we did with Mental Funeral. So this is going to be every Monday. This is a series that's not going to go anywhere, because Ben and I mean, it works. It's a great dynamic. So I love doing these with you, man.
I agree. Yep. So yeah, guys, definitely expect Brothers from Hell Mondays every
Yeah,
Monday night at 9 p.m. from now on.
that's
Definitely.
right. Yeah.
You know, because
Janelle
yep.
says, great review, Metal Ben. Great review, babe. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Janelle. What's up,
Yes.
crew? Let's see. We'll look at the
What's up,
chat here
Cream?
real
What's up,
quick.
Karen?
What's up,
We had a
Karen?
clown. We had a clown in here that I had to time out who was mocking us for doing this review. I don't know why. He's like, "Why are you reviewing Master of Puppets?" Well, we fucking feel like it. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here.
What he
I
said.
timed him out. I timed him out. I don't know. It's all right. You were talking, and I just timed him out because he was. I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do. It doesn't matter.
All right.
He was
Oh
being
well,
a
yeah, it
clown.
doesn't really matter anyways.
No, it doesn't. It's like, if you don't want to watch a video, why did you fucking click on it?
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's like
Oh,
that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, some of these people. I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't get that analogy at all. But, anyways, we're gonna review what we want, so that's
yeah,
basically what it boils down to.
that's right.
So yeah, not sure if we have anything lined up for next Monday yet. Or,
Well, I was thinking, if Deathhammer doesn't come, which it should, we could do Bestial Devastation from Sepultura, since you have that, and I
I
do
got
too.
that too.
Yes. So we're going to do either Deathhammer Electric Warfare, or we are going to do Deathhammer's, Sepultura's Bestial Devastation from '85, which is absolutely awesome. So we're either going to do Deathhammer or Sepultura next Monday. So that's what you guys are going to get.
Yep. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that, people. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, because
Definitely.
well, both albums kick ass for one, and it's going to be fun to talk about them.
That's great. Well, thank you for having me here tonight, Ben. This was awesome as always, and I
Yeah,
enjoyed this.
man,
I'm
no
going to be back
problem.
with you next Monday.
I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, before we leave, subscribe to Music of Destruction. I put the links all down below in the description box so you can check out all this stuff. Check out Music of Destruction. Go subscribe to him if you're not subscribed. He does
Thank
a
you.
lot of great content on his channel. Very dedicated to his craft too.
So are you, man.
And I
Definitely.
put my social medias down below too. I mean, I put my YouTube channel down below. I put my Twitch channel down below, which I should mention this is also streaming on my Twitch channel and on my Facebook page. So I put my link for my Facebook page down there too. I put my Teespring store down there. Guys, check out my Teespring store, dude. I've been putting out some pretty cool looking shirts. Definitely check those out for Holocaust and Metal Ben's Chronicles. What else did I put? Oh, my BANDCAMP Holocaust. Check that out too. Check out Holocaust. Did I'm planning on getting CDs pressed here pretty soon. I'm hoping by April.
Right on.
Knock on wood, I hope.
Well, I also put links in the description of my last two videos for Iron Maiden and Bloodsport for your channel and your Holocaust, Ben. So people will
Oh,
subscribe to you and go buy your EPs. So yeah,
nice.
definitely. Yes. Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
I appreciate it, brother. Definitely,
Yep.
man.
That's what we do, man. We support each other.
Yep, exactly. That's how I think a lot of YouTube should be. I think there should be a lot more support out there on this platform, and I don't really see it as much as I used to. But you know what? We support each other here, and that's all that matters.
Right,
And I
man.
feel like we're putting out some pretty top notch quality as of late, and we're going to keep on doing that.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, anything else going on here in the comments section?
Not really, as far as I could see.
That doesn't look like it.
Nope.
All right, guys. I think we're out. Shout out to Mean Metal Mike also. Damage Inc. Ryan Arnold.
Yeah, it's Damage Inc. I always showed him out in my videos. He's got a good channel.
Jimmy James. How's it going? Bradley, what's up?
Oh yeah, Bradley's here, all the way over from my channel too. Yeah, he's a good kid. That one, cool guy, good kid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, they know us. They're obviously cool because we don't associate with people who aren't cool.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
But I think that's everybody for the chat here.
Looks that way.
All right, guys, so that's a review for Master of Puppets. Thanks to everybody who joined in. Keep it
Yes.
metal, bang those freaking heads, and keep it real also.
Keep it real.
All right, we
Cheers,
are
everybody.
out.
We're out. Peace.